Is it over? Is it finally actually come to an end? Saturday's qualifying session seemed to last forever in Saudi Arabia, but Sergio Perez made Formula One history as F1 continues to realise that racing in the kingdom means that, yeah, the money is good, but the hours are long and very tough indeed. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans, and this is a recap of Saturday's history-making qualifying session in Formula One. Sergio Perez became the first Mexican driver to take pole position for a Formula One Grand Prix as the Red Bull driver shot past the two Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz to sit on top spot for the start of Sunday's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. After a qualifying littered with delays and drama, it was Perez who kept his cool, producing a lap that even he himself said couldn't be replicated in 1,000 attempts, positioning himself at the front of a Red Bull sandwich in the top four with the Scuderia cars, the filling between the bread that is Perez on the front and Max Verstappen in fourth. While Q3 was exciting for who was topping the timing charts, Q1 was exciting for who was at the back, with Lewis Hamilton dropping out in Saturday's first session. The British driver could only finish 16th and was struggling for pace throughout the session with what seemed to be just the wrong setup for Saudi Arabia's street circuit, and it was curtains really for Hamilton even before Nicholas Latifi's crash brought out the first of two red flags for the Saturday. The British driver was unable to find a way to get more out of the car and save his session in a tough moment for the seven-time world champion. It's not going to be one of the hardest races ever, it's just going to be a so-so race, said the Mercedes driver. It's probably not going to be that great. Maybe I'll start from the pit lane and change the car again to make sure it doesn't handle the way it just did. The second red flag of Saturday came out in Q2 and delayed qualifying by about an hour or so after Mick Schumacher lost his Haas at turns 11 and 12, riding the curb and oversteering hard into the walls of the treacherous street circuit with about 5 minutes to go in the session. After a long wait and thankfully confirmation that the German driver was okay after a heavy impact, the session resumed and a mad dash to make the top 10 came about. The Alpines of Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso were joined by the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, which is likely to be the only Haas running on Sunday's race after Schumacher's devastating crash. The Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas also squeaked in, along with the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, George Russell in the Mercedes, and of course the two leading camps of both Ferraris and Red Bulls. Carlos Sainz was the fastest to start Q3 as Max Verstappen seemed to be having trouble getting heat into his soft tyres, but it was the Spaniard's teammate who looked like he'd pinched a second pole of the season with a 1 minute 28.225 on his second run of the session. But further down the road, Sergio Perez was on a under-the-radar flyer, purple in Sector 2 and eventually crossing the finishing line 0.025 seconds faster than the Monegasque driver to find his first pole position of his F1 career at the 215th time of asking. Yes, that's another F1 record. What a lap. Unbelievable, said Perez straight out of the car. I could do 1,000 laps and I don't think I'd beat that lap. It was unbelievable. His thoughts, though, soon turned to the race where pole could be pivotal on the tight Jeddah track. We weren't really expecting too much against the Ferraris in qualifying. We were focusing mainly on the race, continued the Mexican. So hopefully we'll get them tomorrow. So Perez sits on pole with Leclerc second, Carlos Sainz third and Max Verstappen fourth. Esteban Ocon finished fifth with George Russell getting it right in the Mercedes in sixth. Fernando Alonso in the other Alpine is 7th, Valtteri Bottas 8th, Pierre Gasly 9th, and Kevin Magnussen in the Haas wraps up the top 10. So can Perez get it right in Saudi Arabia from start to finish come Sunday's race? Let us know in the comments section below. Does he have the bottle to hold off the charge of those flying Ferraris that still look very, very good indeed? And what about Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes getting it all wrong for him, but kind of right for George Russell? All of your comments welcome as always, and get on to @GPFansGlobal on Twitter and Instagram, or subscribe down below to stay up to date with everything that's going on here at GPFans.